Good morning, it's Andy Prothero from PCR Global and Fit for Purpose Online Training. A quick look at quality management, so the fundamentals. So these next few slides are what those on the Gold members will get to deliver to their colleagues to explain a little bit about ISO 9001. Quality management system, the context of the organisation. This is one of the clauses. This is really important. So context. It is one of the 7-step or 7-element parts of the management system. It's context. What is context? It's the situation in which the organisation exists to operate. But it's really important because that is regardless of industry, agriculture, clerical, packaging, security, engineering. It makes no difference. All organisations have a context. And it's such an important clause because this is what kicks off the scope. This is what kicks off what's in your policies. This is what kicks off what all those risks and opportunities are. Remember, risk management, the effect of uncertainty on objectives. No organisation operates in a vacuum, and success depends on 3 contexts: internal, external, and the risk management context. Where does that come from? That comes from ISO 31000, the international guideline for the ISO International Guideline for Risk Management, Enterprise Risk Management. So context is about the internal context where we seek to achieve objectives, the external context. So we think about PESTLE, political, economical, social, technical, legal and environmental. When you think about those complexity of networks, contractual commitments, relationships, key drivers, that's the external. Internal, vision, mission, values and things like that. What does it mean to us? What does our company internally? Where those two meet, that's the risk management context according to ISO 31000. And it makes sense, doesn't it? What is going on outside, but then what can we do about it or aren't we doing about it? And the success of the company is going to have a lot to do with what's externally happening, but an awful lot to do with how the organisation deals with that. And we're starting to talk about resilience then, aren't we? So quality, risk, business continuity and crisis. Remember, you are going to be able to deliver and click through this with your teams. So quality, what have we got? We got ISO 9001, that's what we're talking about. That is an ISO standard, so we can see it there. And it has the harmonized structure like other standards: context, leadership, planning, support, operation, performance, and and improvement. We've got to consider risk management. There's an ISO for that. It's not certifiable. It's ISO 31000. We've got to think about business continuity. That's really important. 4 main things. We've got the BIA, the business impact analysis. We need a plan. That plan is not just a piece of paper, it's everything that's around that. We need to do a risk and threat assessment, and we also need to do that exercise and test. If somebody's got a plan, ask them, have you determined your maximum tolerable permitted downtimes, or do you have some recovery time objectives? If people can't give you those timings, then they don't really have a plan. They have a piece of paper. That's a plan in 1 or 2 areas. That's ISO 22301. Then you got 22361, and this is the crisis management guideline: 7 principles, 4 framework parts, and 7 process parts. And in that standard, a crisis is an abnormal event that threatens the viability of the entire organisation. And we can separate that from emergency then, can't we? Emergency could be running out of a burning building, but this is something that's going to threaten the viability of the organisation. If you only have 1 building and all your stock is in there, then that really could be a crisis, couldn't it? For risk management, we've got to think about horizon scanning. For business continuity, we've got to think about coming off the rails. And for crisis management, well, that's just carnage. Look at this company here. Director jailed, and that is a sentence going down, not suspended, for failing to protect workers from asbestos. So top management really need to promote horizon scanning. That quality policy is critical. All roads are going to go back to that risk assessment, especially the health and safety risk assessment, but the business risk assessment. That's really important. We're stepping up to enterprise level. As I always say, internal audit, such an important part of what we do and a requirement as well under the management of health and safety regulations 1999, planning, organising, monitoring, reviewing your systems. So we can see that overlap as well with 45. So quality management system. So quality risk management, that's what we've got to think about. There's multiple risk disciplines. We've got quality, we've got health and safety, environmental, information, security. We've got business continuity. We could go on, but we are talking about quality in this instance. risk, threat and opportunities according to ISO, which is really good because then we can see risk as an opportunity to exploit things, which we should be doing. And our enterprise risk management, we're talking about, as I say, those threats and those opportunities. We want to be reused. We want people to come looking for us. We want to do well in the business because we are looking for that organizational resilience. That's really important because we're trying to avoid that crisis, isn't it? Back again, top management. Well, top management, this is now we're going into the 7 elements. So top management, we need a really good, robust quality policy under clause 5.2, setting objectives, commitments to satisfy continual improvement. That's really important from a quality perspective, customer satisfaction and continual improvement. So quality, let's have a look at it. We talked about 9001. Here is the 7 elements, context. Within that, we're thinking SWOT, PESTLE, needs of interested parties, our scope, leadership. We need that policy, customer focus. That's the difference between this and 45,001. This is about customer focus. 45,001 is about health and safety. Of course, they are linked, but this customer focus. So planning, who, what, where, when, how, why. Risk, we're thinking about that. That's the planning clause, such an important clause. Support is about our training, our infrastructure. And actually within this clause, this is where it does actually overlap a bit with safety, because we need the infrastructure to deliver our service. If a company invests in us and goes with us and we've got 9001, well, if our buildings, if our structures, if our areas, manufacturing areas burn down, then we no longer can do that. That's why infrastructure, and we're talking resources as well, people, that's where your health and safety is going to come in within that part of that standard. Operations, planning, procurement, control of non-conformities, performance evaluation, one of my favourite parts, that is doing that internal audit of absolutely everything, really important. And then we're looking at that improvement, and that is enhancing customer satisfaction. We're nearly there. So whilst health and safety, not health and safety, whilst health and safety is focused on health and safety, 9001 is focused on customer feedback, the client, that customer experience. So we need to be evidencing our customer surveys, satisfaction, interaction. How can we evidence that? That's really important. The 7 quality management principles. I like this because like risk management, when we've got the 8 principles under ISO 31000, in quality, there's the 7 quality management principles: customer focus, leadership, engaging people, similar to health and safety there, following the process approach, input, what we're doing, output. That's the process, and back to the start. If we're not getting that feedback, it's like playing darts in the dark, isn't it? Evidence-based decision-making and relationship management. That is the 7 principles of ISO 9001, the quality principles, because we want those contracts. We want good customer experience. We want to be assessed, verified, considered, used, trusted, and then used again. That's really important. And then the last slide, just a quick knowledge check, then you can go over with your teams. How many quality management principles are there? 6, 7, or 8? We know there's 7. We're not expected to remember them, but just remember customer experience, relationship management, and engagement. True or false? At the heart of 9001 is providing consistent high-level service that reflects what you have offered to customers. Absolutely true. That repeatable service, really important. True or false? Being certified to 9001 is a requirement of some clients. Yes, it is, because some clients will require you to have that 9001. Some clients, be very careful, will require you to have 9001 that is accredited, let's just say by UCAS. A lot of companies get a non-UCAS accredited certification, and we've seen this maybe 4 months ago with a client. They've got 3 months ago. They've got this. They have to get another one because it wasn't UCAS accredited. It's easy to think that doesn't happen. It does happen. So that's it. Quick look at the slides. We're just going to go back, click overlay over the slides. You can see that big risk management one. Then you can see the relationship with the quality, risk, and business continuity, and then we've got that context. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for thinking about quality. This is really important. These slides are now going to be made free to those on the Gold membership platform. Thanks for watching.